Hey everyone, we are back with another tournament in Central Illinois. This will be round one of Cabbages and Kings Games Win a Case tournament located in Peoria Heights, Illinois. In this first matchup, we have Kylo Ren from the Legends of the Force set, running the Data Vault base, going up against Thrawn from Jump to Lightspeed, running a yellow base. Let's check it out. All right, we see our players looking at their starting draws. We've got Garrett on the left rocking that Kylo Ren Data Vault, with Luke on the right with the Thrawn yellow, a combination that we've seen rise in popularity, especially with new cards like Legacy Run, allowing a large board clear. These decks both look to control the game and maybe bring out some big units. For Garrett, that would definitely be the Kylo Ren leader with a lot of upgrades. So we both see them with a nice space start. The Onyx Squadron Brute coming out for Luke, and the Inferno 4 coming out for Garrett, allowing to scry the top two cards. And Garrett discarding a upgrade using the Kylo Ren leader ability. When you discard an upgrade, you can draw another card. Notice that it is a heroism card, which allows him to activate the new Anakin Skywalker ability. So you see Luke come in for base 2. Garrett trading blows, so 2 on each base. And we see the Elite P-38 Starfighter come down for Thrawn, and Garrett resupplies, getting to ramp up to 4 resources, with Kylo coming out at 7 resources. Ramping with the resupplies often a good idea. Now Onyx Squadron Brute's going to take out the Inferno 4. Garrett looks at the top 2 cards, decides if he wants to leave them on top or on the bottom. It's like he is checking his hand. Deciding to keep 1 on top. Luke's hand looks like there's another P-38 Starfighter, possibly a no good for me dead. Starfighter goes in for 3 more damage, and we see a Super Laser Tech go down for Garrett, looking to ramp very quickly in this matchup, get that Kylo Ren leader unit out. We see another Elite P-38 Starfighter not pinging the Super Laser Tech, don't want to give that free resource to Garrett. So Garrett already up to 6 resources, Luke at 5. Garrett playing that Anakin Skywalker, and because he has a heroism card and a villainy card in the discard pile, gets to give -3/-3 to 2 units, taking out the 2 Elite P-38 Starfighters. Using the Undefeated ability from the Starfighters to give ping Anakin for 1. Looks like he may have forgot to show the Thrawn trigger, but it looks like the Starfighter one of them was triggered twice. And here Luke brings out the Legacy Run. If he has the ability to defeat one of his own units, which looks like he does have that Merciless Contest, he can defeat the Legacy Run, dealing 6 damage across Garrett's board, and activate Thrawn to deal another 6 damage. So Garrett coming across for 5. This with 7 resources, he can deploy Kylo Ren, which allows him to play upgrade cards from the resource row. Onyx Squadron Brute coming in for 2 damage. Both players have 9 damage on their bases. The Super Laser Tech comes across for 2, bringing Luke up to 11. Luke definitely waiting for the Kylo deploy to destroy his own Legacy Run. Attacks with the ship, dealing 3 more damage to base. Now we see some Kylo Ren players, if they think there is danger, they delay that flip. See Garrett paying 7 for the Darth Vader unit, ambushing into nothing, but able to bring out a supremacy tie in space, being able to lock down that space arena. This would allow the Legacy run to crash into it and defeat itself, as it is a 3/3 space unit. We've already talked about that fantastic when defeated ability. So Luke is going to play no glory, no results, taking control of the super laser tech, then defeating it, able to put it in as his own resource. So Luke being able to catch up on the resources. So they're both at 7. Luke has 2 resources open. We're going to see the Night Sister Warrior come down and Thrawn deploy. Thrawn going in for 4 more damage to base. These are both control-oriented decks, but I think the late game potential for the Kylo Data Vault, having those green Vilni units, could be a little scarier. So Luke's trying to put on some damage. Of course, at any time he can play Merciless Contest, defeat the Legacy run, and more or less wipe the board. Again, he's clearly waiting for Kylo Ren to deploy, as that is a very difficult unit to deal with. But here we see Legacy Run go in, and he's able to clear off with that damage. And Super Laser Blast coming down for Garrett, clearing the board. Now with the Night Sister Warrior, when defeated effect, draw a card. Luke does draw a card off of that, and also healing from the Onyx Squadron Brute. With Luke having such a big board, this is good to take to clear out. But another Legacy run, and we know Luke has that Merciless Contest, and we could see some lines where Garrett has no non-leader units, but he plays the Merciless Contest anyway to defeat his own unit in order to deal enough damage to Kylo Ren. Ooh, and Garrett tries to play Traitorous, but realizes that while Legacy Run was a 3/3, it still costs 5. It said Power of the Dark Side. A great heads up play by Garrett, as there's nothing to damage. Garrett deciding to discard that Traitorous. It's an upgrade, so he draws another card. Looks like he drew a Kylo Ren's lightsaber. We see Luke holding on to, for quite some turns, the No Good to Me Dead, which is a good card. However, Kylo Ren's lightsaber makes it that a unit cannot be exhausted. So that prevents the main effect of Kylo Ren. And so out of the discard pile, we see Constructed Lightsaber. And Garrett puts that Kylo Ren saber on there. Looks like Luke had maybe passed or taken the initiative, or had claimed the initiative earlier. So a big swing. The Constructed Lightsaber, a 2/3, also giving Raid 2. Kylo Ren's lightsaber giving 1. So it looks like he hit for 11 there. Luke trying to play the No Good to Me Dead, but Garrett reminding him that he can't be exhausted, and Luke doesn't have any way to stop the Kylo Ren and decides to scoop. So here we are on game 2. So Luke's going to want to build up a good board and try to leverage those when defeated abilities to keep Garrett at bay. I think one of the big issues was not having a way to answer the Kylo on deploy. Garrett basically baiting out all the other removal options and strategically delaying that flip. I think that a lot of players would get overeager to deploy their leader right away, but Garrett, realizing he had enough health to stall that, and then basically when he flipped, the game ends. So we see a similar start. Garrett did not have a turn 1 play, but plays that Supremacy tie, a 3/3 with Sentinel, new from the Legend of the Force set. Luke doesn't want to crash the Onyx Squadron Brute in yet because he ideally wants to heal up, but Garrett defeats the Brute, taking 2 damage back. The Night Sister Warrior, 2 damage into Data Vault. And we see Garrett with 3 resources playing Resupply. And a Power of the Dark Side coming down to defeat the Supremacy tie. Garrett going to 6 resources, getting that ramp again. We see that power of the ramp. And playing No Glory, No Results, defeating the Night Sister Warrior and getting to draw a card off of that. We see another Legacy run come down. Looks like there is the Merciless Contest in hand, so Luke trying to set up that board clear. We do see Craving Power discarded, a great card in these Kylo decks. It costs 5, but has a similar ability to Overwhelming Barrage. Gives +2 attack and defense, and then allows you to deal damage equal to the unit's power to a unit. So basically taking out a large threat. Garrett discarding the Jedi Lightsaber for a card draw. So a lot of options for when Kylo deploys. Which Kylo can deploy this turn, but I think Garrett's again going to play around this Legacy run. See a lot of upgrades in hand. It's a 5-tap for No Glory Only Results to use on Legacy run, dealing 6 to Thrawn. That's a great way to deal with that threat. Luke puts 9 more damage on Garrett's base, but Garrett's looking pretty good. Luke playing Chimera from the Jump to Lightspeed. So allows him to use a when defeated trigger, and on defeated use a create some tie tokens. We see Maul come down for Garrett to take out Thrawn, deal 6 damage to base via Overwhelm. Luke comes across for 6 more damage, 14 damage on Garrett's base, 6 damage on Luke's. Garrett again strategically delaying that Kylo flip, putting another useful upgrade in the discard pile. So Luke's hand, we see a Waylay and a Merciless Contest, and we see another Legacy run, right? Saving these for that Kylo deploy. Another No Glory Only Results would be great for Garrett. We'll see what he has. He goes up to 8 resources here. So Maul comes in for 7. We see Chimera hit for 6. And Super Laser Blast, just clearing everything out. So that's, I believe, 2 Legacy runs we saw. But Luke gets to create 4 TIE Fighter tokens, 2 off of the initial Chimera activation, and Thrawn activating to create 2 more. So a total of 4. Garrett discarding that Kylo Ren's lightsaber that we saw last game, preventing any exhaust abilities. So in hand we see an Anakin Skywalker, which I think went to the resource row. Let's see a Shadowed Intentions, preventing enemy cards from defeating the attached unit. I think he's checking to see if he has that in the discard, because he will definitely want that on Kylo Ren. First we see Anakin Skywalker, so he was checking to make sure he had a heroism and villainy card in there, so it takes out 2 ties. I think he's also trying to bait out some removal here. Luke bringing Garrett up to 21 damage on base, and here we see the Kylo Ren leader ability, discard that Shadowed Intentions, making it that something like a Rival's Fall or Power of the Dark Side can't defeat the attached unit. Now, it can be defeated by, direct damage like a legacy run. But if your Kylo Ren is buffed enough, it can survive that damage. So Luke bringing out the Onyx Squadron Brute and the Relief Runner for a lot of healing. We see no glory, only results being used on the Relief Runner. A great card in this matchup, basically bringing Thrawn's strategy against him. So Garrett healing some damage off of that. The Brute comes in for 2 more damage, putting Garrett to 20 on the Data Vault. Anakin comes swinging in for 5, bringing Luke's base up to 18. Another TIE Fighter comes across. Kylo discarding Grievous's Wheel Bike. A spicy include there. Not a card we see a whole lot. And Craving Power on Anakin, defeating the Onyx Squadron Brute. Luke is going to activate Thrawn and heal 4. And here we see the Merciless Contest, defeating a TIE Fighter as well as Anakin. And that is the Assassin Droid. Don't see that a whole lot. I believe it's when defeated is deals some damage in the ground. So again, very thematic and a good include for these Thrawn decks that want to take advantage of all those when defeated abilities. So Garrett's going to smuggle out Timely Intervention. We see Anakin Skywalker again. Gonna give -3/-3 to both, and then take out the HK unit on the ground. So Luke able to put a lot of damage on Garrett's base. However, Garrett basically able to clear everything off. And we still haven't seen the Kylo deploy. In Luke's hand, we see some Power of the Dark Sides. 1 is played. Looks like there might be another one. And the Super Laser Tech coming out, just to put something on the board. So in Luke's hand, we see 2 Waylays, one of them going to the resource row. A Vigilance, maybe another Power. Oh, and here's that no glory, only results. And Kylo comes out. I'm going to put a ton of upgrades on here. So we see Shadowed Intentions. And before Garrett can even put the rest of the resource upgrades on there, Luke knows that he's got no way of stopping that, especially with Shadowed Intentions and the Kylo Ren's lightsaber. No way to defeat it, no way to exhaust it. So great play by Garrett there, taking home the victory with the Kylo Ren Legends of the Force Data Vault there. All right, well, that's what we got for this video. Hope you watch next. See ya.